Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you again. It is Wednesday evening. It's almost 10 o'clock, about 10 minutes till 10. You come to the right place. It is time to talk about the weather. So thanks for joining me. I got to pull it up here on my phone because I got multiple ways of doing all this. This is a logistical nightmare, just so you know. One-man band is what we call it in the news business. When you worked for a small TV station, like a TV market, like Wichita Falls, or even Bryan College Station when I first started, you call it a one-man band because you got to do everything. So, yeah, it happens. That's the thing. So, it is what it is. I'm going to load up my broadcast here on the phone so I can see your comments on Facebook. Otherwise, they get truncated. If I try to pull them up after the fact, I can't only read like the last 5, which is so lame. Anyway, I see you, Diana. Thanks for sending me the stars tonight. And so let's go on with it. By the way, YouTube, thanks for checking in. So I'm going to post a link. If you watched my live video a little earlier on Facebook, I showed you where to get a battery bank like this. This is called a Halo. So this is what I have, and I've had it for over a year. Yeah, a year and a half, I think. So you can plug in your little car jumper kit. So if your battery's running low, doesn't want to start, you can give yourself a self jump by one of these things. About $100, and you can charge your cell phones and stuff on it. Mine also has a plug here, so you can power up a laptop, other computing devices. So this right here is a game changer in the world of getting your car to start. So I'm going to post the link there. Also on Facebook, I'll post it there. Speaking of which, on Facebook, I'll posted 2 links. You can get that opt-in messages from me when I go live. That way you don't miss a broadcast, because sometimes Facebook doesn't always play nice in that regard. So it's a workaround from me directly to you. Okay, so we got everybody kind of rolled in. So let's get on with the program, shall we? Make sure I got everything up and running. Let's see here. So I think we're all good. All right. Currently, you wouldn't know it. Looking at my thermometer, 41.2 degrees here at my Tempest weather station in my backyard. This number will drop about 30 degrees in about 30 minutes once that cold front arrives. It's going to be fast and furious. It is going to be one of the strongest drastic temperature changes you've seen in quite some time. So I hope you're ready for it. Get ready. So where is the cold air? Well, here's a look at the state right now. And I want to show you, look up there in the Panhandle region. Let me pull this down just a little so you can see it. But you're going to see some teens. Here we go. Some teens. 13, as a matter of fact. Right here, 20, 18. This is it. This is the leading edge of the cold air. This is the leading edge of the Arctic front. It will move in the Panhandle first, and it will zip line through the state tonight into early tomorrow morning from west to east, and everything goes downhill. So temperatures here have dropped about 15 degrees in the last about 15 minutes across that area. And we do have winds gusting up to around already 44 miles per hour. Woo! That's some fast winds, is it not? And that's the kind of wind we're going to be seeing across the state tomorrow, so get ready for that. Okay. So let's take a look at the latest edition of the high-resolution model as far as timing on this and the temperatures. Now, what I will tell you today is I looked and compared different models that we have to get the best readout as to who had the best idea on temperatures, both in the timing of them and the actual number value. The high-resolution short-term model that we have, our best one, still missed temperatures by 3 degrees. In other words, it was too warm. They were 3 degrees colder. And it missed the movement by about 2 hours. So it goes to show you that you're going to have to speed things up by a couple hours depending on where it shows. So for example, all right, we're 10 o'clock in the model data, all right, that ran earlier. Now, it has leading edge of some cold air here, So it kind of got the frontal position right, but not really. It was really about here. But the temperature was way off. 31 degrees in Liberal, Kansas. And at 10 o'clock, as you noticed, we just showed you, it's like 13. So it's it's off by more than 3. The initial front position is what it is. When you get into the deeper, colder air, it's only off by 3. But in the initial faux because it's so behind, that's where you get the main error. Needless to say, here's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock in the morning. So, all right, so I'm going to stop it at 3. All right, in my opinion, at 3 o'clock, the front will already be here. Matter of fact, it'll probably south side and push already through Oklahoma City and push through Tulsa. So this is a conservative location. In other words, you can see where the model thinks it is, but in reality, it's either going to be here or maybe even here. It's going to be a fast mover. So about 2 o'clock in the morning is when I'm thinking it's going to move through Oklahoma City Metro. And when it does, those temperatures will fall like a rock. It'll go from the upper 30s, about where they are now, and they'll fall quickly. Look here, from a 1 hour standpoint, really, it went from the upper 30s to right around 20 degrees. So that's at least a 20-degree drop. And remember, this is a little slow on the drop. The drop happens faster than what the model indicates. Regardless, 7 o'clock in the morning, when you're out in the neighborhood and you're getting outside, maybe even 8 o'clock, maybe you're a late riser, you're looking at 7 degrees, again, -3. So we're looking at about 4 degrees here in Oklahoma City. Again, subtract about 3 degrees from all these numbers, and that should be your actual air temperature. Up here in the panel, already the negative numbers, below 0. Yeah, there's 9 o'clock in the morning. Here's 10 o'clock. Here's 11. So if it shows 3 here in Oklahoma City, we should be at a big fat goose egg. We should be at 0 degrees Fahrenheit for an actual air temperature, which means we are at 0 or all below in this area here. For the northern third of Oklahoma, you will be in the negative numbers, at least for part of the day on Thursday. And the sweet spot seems to be right before lunchtime, before a slight rebound thanks to the radiational heating from the sun coming through the clouds, etc. All right, so there's in the afternoon. We really don't rebound a whole lot. Again, we're into the single digits across the majority of the state, so it's not really going to change much, and I'll show you the wind speeds here in a minute. And then as we head into Thursday night, Friday morning, we kind of stay with temperatures about where they are, but as I said, remember, we're going to subtract about 3 degrees. We should have a low right around 0 here in Oklahoma City. You'll be about -3 in Tulsa, Marblesville about -4. Those will be our actual low temperatures for tomorrow morning. And then in the afternoon, we're going to warm you back up into the teens. So it'll still be a very cold day for Friday. All right, so that's kind of how things look. So in other words, there hasn't been really big any changes in the last several days of looking at the data. We're just kind of tweaking things a little bit. Now with the winds, so all these little areas you see here in yellow and sometimes a little bit brown color, that's anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour on the wind gusts. You see how that moves through the body of the state. Anywhere you see the yellow, it just pockets here and there. The model won't know the exact location, but it just blanketly puts it because it can happen in any location. There's no rhyme or reason. But otherwise, the winds will be quite gusty tomorrow, widespread across the entire state, and that's really going to help to keep those wind chill values on the cold side. Now, as we head into Friday morning, that's still windy, but by afternoon, things do calm down by 5 o'clock across the western half of the state. Still a little breezy across the northeast, and then things kind of continue to wind down for Friday evening. Okay, so when you factor that in, the temperatures and the wind, you get the wind chill. Let's just go ahead and fast forward into the morning hours. We're going to feel like the minus teens when you head out the door and go to work. Probably even more so. Minus teens. Remember, not plus teens, minus teens. So it's going to be about a 30-degree difference in the actual air mass temperature versus what it's going to feel like to your skin. And that's just based off of evaporational effects from moisture and some other factors that come in to what it's a feel-like temperature, what to the human body and to pets and, animals, that kind of deal. All right, so anyway, there's noontime. You have some readings here in the negative 20s for wind chill values, so that hasn't changed either. Like I said, maybe a little bit of a break as the time goes on, but not by much. We still be in the minus teens and minus 20s for all of Thursday for wind chill values. And then on Friday, we're still sticking into the minus teens. And then eventually things, as we said, the winds calm down. And we get a little break from the crazy wind on Friday. So 2 brutal days coming up, both Thursday and Friday. The little upper level storm system, like we mentioned before, is mostly anchored across the northern half of the country. So the tail end of it moves right across Oklahoma. It is barely, and I mean barely, just enough to give us some precipitation. I'll show you that in the next map. Meanwhile, most of the energy is going to be up across here, and that will, of course, cause more snow to develop to our north and east up toward the Great Lakes. A big old nasty storm system for the northeast, New England, both power outages, southern Canada, Ontario area. It's going to be a mess up there for the holiday weekend. I mean, a mess. You do not want to be living up there. Power outages plus temperatures below zero and plus all the snow. It's just, ugh. All right, so here let's go back to Friday. So this is Friday afternoon. The little system you're watching down here, some of the energy trickles in right across the Red River and the Texas Panhandle. So it might be some flurries like we've been mentioning the last couple of days, but still nothing significant, I don't think. Then focus your attention on this guy here. This is coming our way for Christmas morning. So it's very early. So probably before most of you wake up, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It should generate some light snow across Oklahoma. All this energy is lifted in the atmosphere. It's going to be some dry air at the lower levels. It'll have to overcome, but I think it'll do so. So expect technically a white Christmas because there should be some flurries around, regardless of what's on the ground before then. And then there's another batch of energy up here that's going to zip on down behind this one for Sunday night and a Monday morning, and kind of a rinse repeat. Might be a little bit of freezing drizzle with that one, in addition to some light snow. Okay, so here's how things are progressing with the output of the precipitation. Blue represents snowfall, moving all across Kansas and Colorado, up into Missouri and Iowa right now through midnight. And you can see how it continues to develop here across Oklahoma. I'll zoom in here in a second. I want to show you the surrounding states first. So there's the morning hours. It's quickly moving through. You can see how things dry out westward. By the time we're into lunchtime, it's now across the eastern half of Oklahoma, continuing across Missouri, and now in the halfway of Arkansas, and eastward it goes to Illinois. And by afternoon, it's almost out of Missouri and almost out of Arkansas into the evening. And then it's que sera, sera. What will be, because we've got nothing else after that for a while. Okay, let's take a close-up view of Oklahoma and give your time. So here's some what we call a signal of a flash freeze incident, which means this light rain will change over to a little bit of sleet and freezing rain very quickly within minutes. And whatever it hits the ground, it will become ice instantly. So expect some slippery road conditions by morning. If you're an early morning riser, I do expect a light coating of ice on the roadways across all of central and northeast Oklahoma where this front lies, but even parts here in southwestern Oklahoma too. But most of the moisture should be confined here in central northeast for that type of accumulation. But you can see the blue indicates a quick change over to snow. So snowing like crazy, at least for the initial part of the front, and that's where we'll get most of our accumulation. It does continue with light snow and flurries through the early morning hours. There's 8 o'clock in the morning, for example, moving through some heavier snow for northeastern Oklahoma, Bartlesville, Tulsa, McAllister, etc. And then, as we mentioned, by the time we head into the afternoon hours, it trails off to flurries, and by 3 and 4 o'clock, it's done. So it's a very short window of precipitation. Now here is a look at that ice accumulation I talked about, and it's not a whole lot. It's just a few hundredths to at most a tenth of an inch. I don't think we'll quite see a tenth. So a few hundredths isn't much to measure, but when it becomes all ice, trust me, it's enough to make it a skating rink. So this could be a skating rink all across central Oklahoma. The models don't really have northeast Oklahoma much, but I wouldn't put too much into that. I'd go ahead and extend it for the rest of the body of the state out to the north and east. So if you're traveling around early tomorrow morning, keep that advised. Snowfall. Let's take a look at that. The European model still says Oklahoma City pretty much guaranteed to get snow, but it only has 0.3 of an inch of snowfall counts, precipitation accumulation. Let's see what the other models say. All right, first off, this is that HER model we talked about. This is the high resolution dude. And it's got that dusting to about a ½ inch here in central Oklahoma, stretching down south into southeast Oklahoma, and then kind of go from about an inch or so from around Ponca City to Muskogee and Tulsa, and up to around 3 inches in northeast Oklahoma. I think it's pretty good, but not enough. All right, here's another model here. Has a little bit less, kind of more scattered around. Here's another one, same idea. Look at the placement where the heaviest stuff is, which is basically Missouri. Another one there. A little bit more for the state. Here's another one, and then there's the Canadian. I've been siding with the Canadian for the last few days, just so you guys know. I think it's the more logical output. So with that in mind, it has up to about an inch of snow here in Oklahoma City with that quick, hard line in the sand once you get south of this northwest to southwest line I had you guys draw. So again, only some flurries down here. It's not a whole lot to speak of. The measurable snow along this line and points north. So that does mean Tulsa looks like about, I could see 2 inches for sure, maybe 3 once you get just north and east of town as you head up toward northeast Oklahoma, Miami, Nowata, Bartlesville, that kind of deal. So that's how that looks right now. Snow totals. Let me see here. Now, if we take a look at the experimental American model, which just came in hot off the presses, it kind of likes that idea. It keeps the dusting up to about 1 inch of snow here in central Oklahoma. Has about 2 inches of snow here in Tulsa, and then up to around 3 inches when you get to this area. So it kind of stacks it from southwest to northeast with increasing amounts, blowing snow with wind speeds of 45, maybe gusts of 50 miles an hour. Visibility has been very poor. I guess technically it could be a blizzard-like conditions up there for a little while in northeast Oklahoma, but definitely some measurable dry snow. Now lows, like we mentioned, forget this number. It'll be about that number when you wake up in the morning, but then after that it falls, so we'll be in the single digits again all day long. Friday morning, we're looking at a temperature of 0, not a temperature of 10. Yeah, I like the mid-teens for a rebound in temperature at least. I'm not sure we'll hit 19, but mid-teens for sure. And then over the weekend, probably lower teens, so maybe like 10 degrees for a low here in Oklahoma City. And then for the high, probably mid-20s. It might be too much of a stretch to do. Sunday morning, again, the temperatures are kind of warming up a little too fast, so maybe more like the upper teens for a low on Sunday morning. And then for the high, definitely not 38, more like maybe 28, 29, 30 here in central Oklahoma, but definitely some upper 30s out in western Oklahoma, and then mid-20s in eastern Oklahoma, so kind of a state divided. We had that little brief system Monday morning, a little bit of light snow, some freezing drizzle. Then after that, we do start to warm things up in a moderating trend. Like I told you before, we got some cold stuff coming, so it's all into the negative teens and 20s to our north. And if you look here into Nebraska, still minus negative numbers. So, I mean, this is some cold stuff. The position of the front, actually this drawn front is an automatic front. It's drawn way late. The actual front's more south than that. Let's see here. So the actual front is doing something like this. And it's kind of in 2 stages. You kind of get a wind shift line initially, and then you'll get the secondary Arctic plunge to kind of come in afterwards. So there's a little bit of a break there before that happens. But this colder weather will kind of catch up to it, the density. Regardless, it's going to be cold for that. And then last but not least, I will show you a little geeky meteorology, because it wouldn't be me if I didn't, right? Let's see, did I close that window? Ugh, it's so lame. Let me reopen it. All right, so let's do this and this. Okay. All right. But why are we not getting a whole lot of snow here in Oklahoma City, for example? Simply, we just don't have enough moisture at the upper levels of the atmosphere. So I will circle for you on the screen. This is about 15,000 feet in the atmosphere. This is the snow growth layer for tonight into tomorrow morning. Time, T, goes this way, meaning this is about 6 a.m. here on this side of things, and this is like noon over here, okay? Boy, I cannot draw with this mouse. That's supposed to say noon. Any hooters. So they give a little bit of batch of moisture here, tiny round. The red that you see on the screen, all this red is lift. It's omega, and there's a ton of it. Boy, we got lift that beat the band. But without it overlaying with some moisture, we just can't produce significant snow. So a lot of our lift is going to come within the boundary layer of the front arrival in this area here, and we'll get kind of trapped with the moisture with the position of the front, and the cold air squeezes out the snow with that. So that's why you get very light snow accumulations here within this outcome, and you get that first little hit of a brief mixture of freezing rain, sleet, that's developed here at the lower levels of the atmosphere, and so that's why that precipitation is light. So the bottom line is, because there's not significant moisture in this area of the atmosphere, we don't get a big storm. We get this piddly moisture down here, which is just enough to become a nuisance and or to be pretty, however you want to look at it, glass half full, and then that's what you do. All right, so that, I believe I covered everything. Again, if you missed out on the early start of the forecast, I posted a link in the comment section where you can get one of these little chargeable car boosters / your laptop, your cell phones, all that kind of thing. You just leave it in your car. I charge this one twice a year, so every 6 months I just give it a little top off. and it lasts forever. And it's real simple. You plug in your little battery jumper deals right into the side of it, and you can boost up your car. Because I have a feeling a lot of you will have your car batteries either dead or very weak, and it may be hard to start. So in the future, when we have other cold mornings other than just tomorrow, those will help. So I gave you the link that you can get to on Amazon to find the one that I got, and I've been using it for a couple of years. And I've had others in the past, and sometimes they'll eventually break or you'll lose something or whatever. But they're cheap enough to where you can replace them, and they're getting better and better. So that's good. Price is staying about the same on the cost, and then the power that they're actually being put into there for like cranking amps, for example, keeps going higher, and the battery life, etc. Okay, so I believe I covered everything I wanted to cover. I'll post that link again here. Okay, so let me go through a couple of comments and questions, and then I'll see what I can do. Some of you are probably going to want to recap, and I'll do that for you as well. Like Bill, for example, he's wanting to know about temperatures. Well, he must have missed the whole front end of this whole broadcast, because that's what we started with. Come on, Bill. So we'll do a recap of that as well, and let me go through your Facebook comments. By the way, Kim, thank you for the stars. Holy moly, 500 cup of Joe. So makes a nice little Christmas present. So thanks for the Christmas present, Kim. Let's see, Matthew, you're welcome for the update. You're ready for the snow in Miami. Woohoo! Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. And the sweater's new. My wife got me this for early Christmas present. So the best time to buy clothes is this time of the year. Man, because everything's like a half off. I'm like, if I ever buy clothes, it's always either right before Christmas or right after. That's the best time. Let's see. Yeah, Jody left all this nonsense behind. No, she's bringing it. So everybody blame Jody. That's what I'm doing. Let's see. If you guys missed my video that Jody shot earlier, I was showing you how to plug in a car block heater. So that was a new thing for me. Never done that before. But that's a Canadian thing. Doug, thank you for the stars tonight. Karen wants little Penelope and Larry to make an appearance, I'm sure. Jariah Holler, thank you for the stars, man. Ellen, good. I'm glad you got a notification. Let's see. Larry, I've heard people say they heard on the news it can now get 2 inches of snow. I don't know who you're hearing, who's watching what, but I give it to you straight, and I have never said 2 inches of snow in Oklahoma City. It's always been a dusting to an inch. I can't guarantee anything more than that. And I showed you all the reasons why on the science side. So if we get more than that, hey, consider me completely shocked. There's no reason for it. Let's see. Mike's already looking way down the road. He's looking at the storm over Hawaii, hoping it comes here. Melissa, good to hear from you. You too. Merry Christmas. Oh, Rebecca wants to fly out to Chicago tomorrow. Will planes fry? Carrie, by the way, Merry Christmas right back at you. So, listen. You people are crazy. I get it, though. I guess you gotta go, right? I mean, you can't change your plans. So, just be prepared to sit at an airport with a wind like that is technically a gust front, which is dangerous to aircraft to fly in. So if you had any early morning flights, they will be canceled for the position of the frontal propagation here at Will Rogers Airport and maybe Tulsa. If there's any flights that leave that early at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what their schedule is, but after that, they should start to be able to get things off, and so there might be a little bit of a delay because of that, plus the low visibility. So just expect some delays, but then I think it'll be going. So I think the worst case scenario, you might have to sit around for a couple hours, and then you can get out of here. If there's a connecting plane coming in, same idea. Like from Dallas, a lot of times they'll have Dallas flights come in, and then you take that one. So it's going to be some delays for them coming in because of the weather. Stephanie, thank you for the stars. Melissa, thank you. Brigida or Brigitta. Ooh, interesting name. I have not seen that before. But thank you for the stars. I totally probably butchered it, but thanks. So Ellen, my husband goes, is that you? He just gave you props. Yes, thank you. Merry Christmas. Let me think. Go back to YouTube here real quick. Will Tulsa get a good enough amount of snow? Emmanuel chiming in. Emmanuel, he's a snow lover up there. And Claire wants to know, will the roads be bad tomorrow afternoon or evening or just the morning? And how's Penelope and little Larry? They're probably taking a nap right now. And they do have sweaters, Bill. I don't think Jody put them on them today. They're too busy roughhousing, so they had plenty of heat from just roughhousing. But here's your recap, all right, for those of you folks that missed it at the beginning of this broadcast, all right? So the Arctic air is moving already into the state. It's in the panhandle right now, dropping temperatures into the lower teens. Didn't take long at all for that to happen. Upstream, temperatures have fallen as much as 30 degrees in like 10 minutes, like in Colorado. So that's a huge drop. Ours probably won't be that fast, but it's going to be quick. So when the front does come through here in the morning hours, which is probably around 2 o'clock in the morning, it should start to work its way through Oklahoma City. Probably clear in the city by 3. We're going to have a mixture of light icing, so it's like freezing. It's like rain to freezing rain to sleet, and then goes to snow. So it's a very quick transition. I mean, the transition may happen within 10 minutes of that precipitation type. But while that's happening, it's going to accumulate heavy enough to where it should lay down a light, thin layer of ice across the roadways, bridges, elevated surfaces. So I do anticipate morning traffic to be a nightmare to get around on, just because of that. The snow that will come in after that is very dry snow. It's very powdery to blow off the roads, in my opinion. So it's not like it's going to be a heavy accumulating snow, which sometimes if you get the heavy snow on top of the ice, it gives you some traction. So you really won't have it this time around. That mess is going to be there for all of central Oklahoma, northern, eastern Oklahoma when you get up in the morning to head out the door. So you can use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It will tell you if how the radar looks. You can check that out. Plus, it'll show you the temperatures on there too. You can look at as if it's going to be any different. But what you could do is go to my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com, and in there has road conditions for all surrounding states. You can click on all the little cameras, and that will tell you how bad the roads are, if you can see traffic moving, if they're sliding off the road, if it looks shiny, all that kind of stuff. So you can see those in real time. So that was what EGA Sooners was saying. Driving from Oak City to Southwest Arkansas tomorrow, not recommended. Yeah, if you want to leave and you do want to drive, in the afternoon is better than the morning. So the morning you want to avoid if you can, or at least take it very slow. Be late to get out. Don't be rushed. Otherwise, the more hours you can put out there, some of that will probably evaporate with the winds blowing and some heat from the road. So it's just kind of that morning. And I can't give you a cutoff time. I mean, I could say through 9 a.m., treacherous or slippery through 9 a.m., and then it's fine. But I'd be lying to you. I can't promise you that. But that's a start, because every hour after that, it should slowly improve. Thinking of anything else. So the snow ends west to east across the state by late afternoon, and the amounts still the same, dusting to an inch here in central Oklahoma metro. They go up north and east. You do get higher amounts. So by the time you get to Ponca City, Tulsa, you're looking at about 2 inches, and by the time you get from there, you're looking at 3 inches toward the Kansas border, Arkansas, and then so the higher amounts will be in far northwest Arkansas, 3 to 4, southwest Missouri from 3 to 5, same thing for southeast Kansas for accumulating snow, and widespread winds of around 40 miles per hour. So that is all of that. And then the actual temperatures, single digits most of the day. There will be a period there late morning to about lunchtime where about half the state will either touch 0 degrees or get below 0 degrees, especially the northern third of Oklahoma for a little bit. Wind chill values maxing out anywhere from minus 15 about minus 25 degrees during that time. So there you go. That is your 1 minute recap. So Lacey, you just made it. Chris, yes, destination airports will also be a problem north of here. Remember, we're on the southern end of this system. So if you're trying to fly north to anywhere from the Central Plains to Chicago, the upper Midwest, the winds are going to be ridiculous. Snow's going to be ridiculous. So it'll be a nasty travel day. And then on Friday, that travel day continues up into the Great Lakes and the New England area, northeast. So it's a 1-2 punch as far as travel is concerned. So that'll cause, of course, a domino effect on flights just in general, because once that happens, it'll get messy. And with the holiday and everybody trying to travel again and the staffing low, for all the reasons, COVID for the airports and the pilots and the crew. It won't be pretty. So you're gonna have to pack some secret vials of vodka to get through the day. Nikki, by the way, thank you for some stars. Appreciate it. All right, I believe that's it for me. I'm trying to think. I pretty much covered everything and did a recap. I think I covered everybody. Karen says, how far south is this coming? Well, what do you mean? If it's temperatures, it's coming all the way. If it's snow, it comes about a northwest to southwest line, cutting the state in half for anything measurable. So from like Woodward, Oak City to like Hugo, Oklahoma, something like that. North and east from there, you get measurable snow. South and west, some flurries, about it. And then we'll have a thin coating of ice, pretty much eastern 2/3 of the state. So the exception will be far western Oklahoma, more than likely, as far as accumulating light icing on the roadways overnight. And I think that's about it. All right, just checking to make sure everything else was good. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for following. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing this video. Thanks for your support. Subscribing, shooting me some stars tonight. I appreciate the love any way you give it. Have a happy holiday period if you're getting out of here and I don't see you again. And definitely Merry Christmas. And I will still do a couple updates. I still tomorrow want to throw some boiling water in the air. So expect that demonstration. I'm anxious to try that. Plus, I just want to step outside and see what minus 25 feels like for a little bit. And then go in and get some hot coffee. So, all right, well, be careful. You're going to be outside and outdoors. Make sure you take your precautions on your vehicles and your clothing. If you're going to hit the road, in case you get trapped or you got to wait for somebody to come get you and you don't have any heat. And also drip your faucets. I didn't mention that earlier tonight. There's too many things to remember. But make sure you drip your faucets, not tonight, but starting tomorrow morning, and keep them dripping throughout the day tomorrow into Friday morning with the doors open to get some heat in there. Especially for outdoor walls, not the interior faucets, just the exterior along the outer walls. Especially where your insulation may be a little weak if you know you're already susceptible to that. And that's it. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. You guys be good, sleep good, and we'll talk soon. Take care.